I have trouble speaking because you're beautiful, I said, the alien. Beginning. The first time I saw her, I forgot how to breathe. I wasn't supposed to be there. My unit had been assigned to patrol the abandoned ruins of the Hecary outpost on the edge of the Vega system, a dead world that the Galactic Command claimed had nothing left but dust, broken towers, and the occasional scavenger. We all believed that story, until we found the crash site. A small craft, charred and cracked open, lay half buried in the sands. Its hull was unlike anything I'd ever seen, not human, not one of the allied species. My squad leader ordered me to investigate while the others secured the perimeter. I gripped my pulse rifle, heart pounding in my chest, and climbed inside. That was when I saw her. She was pinned beneath a shattered console, her pale silver skin shimmering faintly against the gloom. Her hair was like woven strands of light, long and translucent, shifting colors as if it responded to her heartbeat. Her eyes, gods, her eyes, glowed faintly in the dimness, liquid pools of violet and silver. For a long moment, I stood frozen, unable to move, unable even to think. My mouth opened, but all that came out was a broken half-whisper. I have trouble speaking because you're beautiful. Her gaze flicked toward me, weak but steady, as if she'd understood every word. Then her lips curved into something halfway between a grimace and a smile before she fainted. That was how it began. I called the others, but instead of reporting her presence, I lied. I told them the ship was empty except for burnt-out tech. Somehow, I managed to smuggle her out and bring her back to my quarters on base. I didn't know why I did it. Protocol demanded I turn her over to command immediately, but something inside me screamed that if I did, she would never see another dawn. And I couldn't let that happen. Over the next several days, she slowly recovered under my care. I learned her name was Lysera. Her language was strange melodic, but she adapted frighteningly fast, picking up human words with uncanny precision. You saved me, she said one night as she sat on the cot, the pale glow of her skin casting gentle light against the metal walls. Why? I didn't know how to answer. I wanted to say because you're beautiful again, but it felt childish, shallow. The truth was more complicated. I felt something when I saw her, a connection, like gravity had shifted and every atom in me wanted to orbit her. Instead, I said, because command doesn't always protect those they should. And I couldn't stand to see you die. Her eyes softened. Then I owe you more than my life. I shook my head. You don't owe me anything. Just stay alive. She tilted her head, studying me with that otherworldly gaze. Your voice shakes when you speak to me. Why? Heat rushed to my face. Because, I hesitated. Because you're beautiful. The words hung between us. This time, she didn't look confused. She smiled, soft, radiant, devastating. The more time we spent together, the more I learned about her. Lysera belonged to a people called the Thryn, a nomadic civilization who traveled the stars in living ships, avoiding the great empires of the galaxy. Their technology was organic, grown instead of built. Her craft had been a seed ship, carrying knowledge, songs, and memory crystals. She had been fleeing something, though she never said what at first. But shadows loomed over our stolen moments. On the third night, alarms rang through the base. Command had intercepted signals of unidentified vessels moving near Vega. My squad was ordered to prepare for possible incursion. I realized with icy certainty that those ships were hunting Lysera. That same night, she finally confessed. They destroyed my convoy, she whispered, clutching one of her glowing memory crystals. A war faction of the Dravik. They want what we carry, our song cores, our knowledge. They will not stop until every Thryn voice is silenced. I clenched my fists. The Dravik were infamous, a militaristic alien race that thrived on conquest. If they discovered Lysera here, the entire base could be annihilated. We have to get you off this planet, I said. Her luminous eyes locked onto mine. Will you come with me? The question cut through me. Duty screamed no. Desire whispered yes. And underneath it all was the terrifying realization that my world had already shifted the moment I first looked into her eyes. The days that followed were chaos. The Dravik arrived, their ships blotting out the stars. Command panicked, scrambling fleets and fortifying positions. I used the distraction to sneak Lysera into the underground hangars where I had clearance. There, hidden under tarps and dust, lay an old human scout craft barely fit for flight. I can make it fly, she said, running her hand along its hull. Where her palm touched, the metal pulsed faintly, as if responding. I stared. How? My people's song, she explained. We can awaken sleeping machines, give them rhythm. If you guide me, we can escape. But before we could launch, we were caught. My squad leader, Captain Dren, stormed into the hangar with a dozen soldiers. His eyes went wide when he saw Lysera, then narrowed with cold calculation. You've been hiding an alien fugitive, he spat. Do you know what you've done? You've endangered this entire base. He raised his weapon. Without thinking, I stepped between him and Lysera. No, I said firmly. She's not our enemy. Dren's lip curled. You've been compromised, soldier. Step aside before I charge you with treason. For a moment, I hesitated, torn between the oath I had sworn and the impossible truth standing behind me. Then Lysera's hand touched my back, warm and steady, and everything crystallized. I can't, I said. The hangar echoed with the sound of rifles being cocked. And then the Dravik attacked. The ceiling cracked as plasma fire rained down. Sirens blared. Soldiers scrambled. In the chaos, Lysera and I dove into the scout craft. She pressed her glowing palms against the console, singing in that strange, haunting tongue. The dead systems flared to life. Hold on, she whispered. The craft roared, lifting off as debris fell around us. I barely managed to pilot through the collapsing hangar doors before everything behind us erupted in flames. We escaped into the void, weaving between Dravik fighters. My hands gripped the controls, sweat pouring down my neck, but Lysera was calm, her voice steady as she sang to the ship, guiding it through impossible maneuvers. It felt less like flying and more like dancing, her song leading, my instincts following. For the first time in my life, war didn't feel like destruction. It felt like creation. Ending. We drifted into the black after what felt like eternity, finally losing the Dravik patrols. The stars stretched endless around us, quiet and merciful. For a while, neither of us spoke. Then I turned to her. What happens now? Lysera held the memory crystal against her heart. I must find my people. If they still survive, they'll be scattered, hiding. The songs must be reunited. And me? I asked quietly. She looked at me for a long time, eyes shimmering with something more than starlight. You could go back. Your world will call you a deserter, but you'll live. Or, she reached out, her fingers brushing mine. You could come with me. Walk a path no human has walked. Share in the songs of my people. My chest tightened. It should have been the hardest decision of my life, but it wasn't. I had already chosen the moment I whispered those foolish words in the wreckage of her ship. I'll go with you, I said. Even if I have trouble speaking half the time because you're beautiful. Her laughter was like music, soft, radiant, alive. And so we set a course into the unknown, two fugitives bound not by orders or empires, but by a choice. Maybe the galaxy would hunt us. Maybe the Dravik would never stop. But for the first time, I wasn't afraid. Because when I looked at her, I knew that even in the vast silence of space, I would never be alone again.